Back.
Oh, hey.
That's editing, baby.
Wow.
Did you hear that break? That was awesome.
How'd you like that cigarette so fast? It's amazing.
So anyway, we're talking about Halloween. Let's wrap that conversation up, and see, because it's one of the coolest times to play. I think that it ties in with our question of the week last week.
It does.
And
should we continue to don the attire?
I
have a lot of fun. It only took me about 20 minutes to get ready. I mean, I can do the makeup.
Well, yeah.
Years of practice.
But, I said it's honestly, who was in the hotel room with me? Was it you?
Yeah, I was.
When we
that
went
was
back
terrifying.
To get changed,
yes, it was terrifying.
And I'm doing my hair, and he walked up and he's like, "Oh, you look pretty good." And I went, "You know what's weird? It feels normal."
Well, did you do the Aquanet hanging upside down with the blow dryer?
I didn't have to. I use first of all, my hair was already dry, so then it was just ratting. And
remember that?
I did bring the can of hairspray on stage.
He did during the show,
and be like, "You got it, spraying it up with, Jesse, Jerome. You remember from Purple Rain?
Absolutely, dude.
More Stay in the Time.
More Stay in the Time, man.
Jesse,
Jerome.
Beautiful.
We got some response on that question of the week. Emily from out there in Emily, was it Doan? Emily Doan. She was kind enough to respond on the Facebook to our question of the week, and she thinks that we should always dress up, because we look great like real rock stars. So apparently, if we put on the clothes, we look like real rock stars, whether or not we actually are.
When I put on the makeup, I am a real rock star.
That's true.
With these smoking lights,
we
are rock
stars. All kinds. So far, it's leaning towards that we should keep the dressing up happening.
Yeah, I think that every person on the planet could say, keep doing it, and we'd have one person in the band that would say no.
Yes.
Who would that be?
We're not at liberty to discuss.
No, we're just saying your singer went as Bono.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means he's going to have to join Greenpeace and he's going to have to start taking.
We don't have to live the life.
Vegan. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if Bono's a vegan, but I know that he's what's that? Amnesty International.
A tree hugger.
Yeah, God, that's about as close as we're going to get to politics on this show.
Pretty much.
It gets you out of your. If you have inhibitions about performance, when you play a character, it all of a sudden that kind of goes away a little bit.
Don't you kind of think when you get maybe it's me because I'm such a loudmouth, man. I kind of think when I'm getting up and doing a Johnny Watt show that I am playing a character anyways.
I agree.
Dude, we spent a long time developing characters.
Absolutely.
People go see that. And when I was playing with Johnny Watt as well, we're not really necessarily those guys you see on stage.
We're partially,
but I
mean,
for sure.
If I was drinking
it's like all
tequila
of our
like
dark
that
sides.
7 days a week,
right.
I wouldn't be here today, man. I mean, it's fun to do it.
Well, you'd be here. You'd just be a lot drunker.
Would be loaded.
It'd be what Alice Cooper
would be Braun Robinson.
Okay, that is an edit. That's definitely an edit right there.
Not any longer. I believe he's involved in church, and we all know that when people get involved in church, they really clean their shit up.
They do. I know. That's what happens.
Yes.
So coming
Except
up
for the smoking.
That's well.
Hey, you know what?
Gotta have a vice. Pizza.
Gotta have a
I was
vice.
so proud of you.
Did you really quit smoking?
He had quit
4
smoking
months.
for 4 months.
You quit smoking for 4 months?
Yeah.
He had an electronic cigarette and the whole deal.
How did that affect your weight? Did it affect your weight at all?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, because cigarettes, man, that is a hard thing to kick, I guess.
Dude, I had an easier time getting off of cocaine.
You should have heard his voice, though. I mean, his voice was like
huge,
fresh.
Right?
It was like
did
a fresh
jump back
Jeff
up.
Tate.
It jumped back about 20
Hey, man,
years.
when I saw Xander, when I was talking with him, he was smoking a cigarette, man.
So, well, there you go.
Well, Bryan Adams is a smoker, and all those guys. Springsteen's got to be a smoker.
Jesus.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Well,
you think?
this is temporary. Trust me. It is. It's temporary. I shouldn't have bought this pack this morning. I know, but
you bought a pack this morning.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
I know. Very
Kelly,
much.
you've never been a smoker.
No, my wife smokes enough for everybody in the room.
That's right.
That's true.
She'd be mad if you were a smoker. She'd have to share her cigarettes.
Oh man,
we are going to be in the poorhouse.
2 cartons a week.
Smoking.
Jesus.
So this is a true story. You know why I'm not a smoker?
Why?
I think Jeremy knows the story. This
I
is
know why.
absolutely true. So like my dad, who this would be the only time I ever mentioned my dad ever. So I was in California. I'm like 8, 9 years old, and I'm hanging out. My dad was an old hippie kind of freak dude, Woodstock guy, the whole deal. And I'd be 8, 9 years old, and he'd say, "Hey, Christopher, you're gonna come stay with me for the weekend in my apartment." And so we'd be hanging out, and he'd make me play chess with him. I'm like 8, 9 years old playing chess. I don't want to play chess. I want to go color. I don't know.
Rook to knight 3.
Yeah. He's like, sit down. Let's play chess. And my dad would always be smoking pot. Okay. He always had every picture you see. He has a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other, dude. It's amazing.
Cigarette or pot? You said always
he
smoking
could be
pot.
putting gas in the car and he would have a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other, right? So we're hanging out and we're playing chess, and he would always have a joint, and he'd have it on the edge of his beer, and he'd get up and go to the bathroom. And so I'm like, what is that? I got to try that. And I leaned over and I took a little puff off of it, and I went, oh, that's really good. I really like that. I like that, right? So I put it down, pretend it never happened. So about 3 weeks later, the exact same scenario. I'm sitting there and I'm playing chess, and he gets up and goes to the bathroom, and he's got this thing smoking on the end of there, and I grab it and I smoke it, and it's a cigarette, and I'm like, oh, it's terrible. It's the worst pot I've ever smoked in my life. That's the day I was ruined on cigarettes. I've never liked the taste of cigarettes since then. So if you don't want your kids to smoke cigarettes,
have them smoke pot first.
Yeah, have them smoke pot first.
Yeah, there we go. There's our public service announcement. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't take your children to see Johnny Watt.